Joining me now is leader of the Heritage Party, David Kurten, along with Ava and Esther. David Kurten, what do you make of Suella Braverman's plans today?
It sounds like a good speech. I mean, she ticked all the boxes for her audience in the Conservative Party.
Any difference to Priti Patel?
Well, that's the thing. You know, they've been promising for 12 years that they're going to get a grip of migration, illegal migration, bring the numbers down to the tens of thousands. And I think with Suella Braverman, we're just hearing the same thing that we've heard from Theresa May and Priti Patel. She's gone a little bit further with some of the promises that she's made. You know, we're going to deport people back to their home countries or to Rwanda. But then at the end of the speech, which wasn't shown on there, she says, but there's not much I can do about it now. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to take time because there's all these people who are against us and human rights lawyers and so on. We can't really deal with that right now.
So, Ava, I mean, look, on the left, the view is these are a bunch of right-wing heg bangers and it's all disgusting and disgraceful. But there is a reality check. The number of people coming over on these boats across the channel is breaking all records. It appears to be getting completely out of control. People are dying in the process, which is awful. What do we do about it as a country?
Yeah, but you need people to believe that so that you can put out this kind of fluff.
Well, the numbers don't lie.
Believe that we're being invaded and we're not. And they're not migrants, they're refugees. I spend a lot of
time... They're not all refugees, are they?
I spend a lot of time in Calais, and a lot of these people are from Afghanistan, which we have just pulled out of.
And a lot, it turned out, also from Albania who are economic migrants.
Have you been to Calais? I haven't seen one Albanian down there, but I do see a lot of Iraqis. I see a lot of Kurds. I see a lot of...
The one day you spent in Calais, you have
one day. Do you know how much time I spent on it? I will take you down to Calais, and you can see that all of this is farce.
But the thing is,
hang on, Ava, would you treat all of them as asylum seekers then?
Absolutely.
And you let them all in?
And I tell you why you have
to.
I tell you why you have to process them here, because we don't have a system where you can apply from abroad. It doesn't exist. If you are an Afghan right now, the Arab system is closed.
That I understand. I think it should be twofold, right? Because you have UN channels that allows Ukrainian refugees to come to the UK, for instance. You should open that up to various other parts of the world, but that requires dedicating government resources to that. But I'm sorry, to pretend like these people are just refugees when they destroy a lot of their documentation upon landing in the UK, and a good chunk of them are from Albania.
I think when we get overgeneralising about any of this, we make mistakes. They're not all legitimate refugees or asylum seekers, and they're not all economic migrants trying it on, and they're not all throwing their phones in the sea, and they're not all dodging their paperwork. So there's a mixed bag of people coming in, some of whom, as Ava rightly says, are from war-torn countries, some from war-torn countries where we started the wars, like Iraq, for example. So my question is, where is the heart and soul of this country when it comes to asylum and refugees, and where is the more perhaps hard-hearted head saying we can't let this channel migration on these small boats continue in the way that it is?
I think the heart and soul should be with women and children who actually go through official channels, of which there should be more of, to come to the UK. The fact that these are all, the fact these are young, able-bodied men speaks volumes.
No.
I totally agree with you. The vast majority
to pave the way so they can bring their families over.
It's the vast majority are military-aged men.
My father, if we were in trouble, my dad would go, and then he would bring me and my mum.
That's cowardice. I'm sorry. You would send your wife and child to safety first before you join, because that's what a man does.
It's safe because they're going with smugglers.
The vast majority are military-aged men. They're coming from a safe country. They're coming from France or Belgium. That's a safe country. So they're actually shopping around for the country where they have the best benefit.
If they're genuine refugees,
they would claim asylum in the first safe country you can get to. If you're running for your life, you'd be running for your life with your family, with your wife, with your child. Would you have said that
during World War II, during the Holocaust, right after which Sir Winston Churchill signed?
It's a completely different situation.
It's not. It's the Refugee Convention.
The Holocaust is happening, you know, in Eastern Europe, obviously in France, in Germany. This is not happening. France is not undergoing a Holocaust at the moment. So anyone who's coming through France to the UK is shopping for the best country, is shopping for the best benefit. That's a totally different situation. That was 80 years ago. What's happening now is that people coming from the safe country are coming to another safe country, and they shouldn't be. They're not genuine.
The language,
they're not genuine asylum seekers.
Hostile to people of Muslim faith.
France is a safe country.
It's not safe.
It's got an awful lot of Muslims in there. It's a secular country.
And what do? They banned the burqa. They banned the burqa.
So they're risking their lives over the channel to wear hijab. Is that what you're saying? These men are risking their lives.
So unreasonable.
The vast majority now.
Men don't wear hijabs.
Yeah, but who does? Wife and children.
That they left.
Who are they bringing to safety?
No, I'm sorry. This mental gymnastics.
Okay, let me just get involved. The problem is, it seems to me, again, the problem I have is generalisation. When you sweepingly say, look, these are all legitimate refugees, and that is not true. When other side says they're all economic migrants trying it on military-age men. That's not true either, right? The truth is, it's more complicated, but the reality of the problem is it's getting worse, not better, and nobody seems to have a good idea what to do about, specifically, these boats coming over the channel, a great risk to people in there, driven by these people traffickers. So I just simply, when I talk to people on the left, I say, well, what is your answer to this?
Can I give you it right
now? It can't
now?
just be to let everybody in.
I won't. Can I give you it
can't have
right
an
now?
open border.
Let me give you it, Piers. Macron proposed that we put a post over in Calais where we would be able to process people. And the reason that was thrown out by Boris Johnson and Priti Patel was because they argued it would be a pull factor. But you can't say you need to get processed before coming to the UK and then not offer a processing centre. So that's what I would suggest.
I would go further. I agree with that, and I would go further. I would say you actually have to dedicate a lot more resources and work a lot more closely with the French and Belgian governments, because the actual problem is once they cross the channel, you need to stop them at peak hours before they're even able to do that. And that actually requires deeper cooperation with these governments.
And David, let me ask you, who would you let in? What would your criteria be?
Genuine asylum seekers who, this is the first...
Where would you assess them?
Well, I mean, someone coming from France, they shouldn't come to the country. They shouldn't come to the UK.
But some of them are perfectly entitled to try and come to our country.
They can claim asylum.
Just because they've been in France doesn't mean they can't come to try asylum here.
But then why would they
the thing is, I wouldn't allow anyone who's coming from France to claim asylum here, because we've got to consider the effects on this country. This is one of the most densely populated countries in the world.
Fine, but
it's putting pressure on housing.
Well, we don't have as big a population as France, and the reality is a lot of these people have come to France from war-torn countries. Right. I know some of them personally myself, who've come over on the boat and made great, lives for themselves in our country, working as COVID ward cleaners in a pandemic, for example. The filmmaker that I've interviewed many times on this show. So the point being, a lot of them come to France from war countries. So they are legitimate asylum seekers and refugees who may have family, in that case did, in our country. We surely have a moral duty to take those people.
I don't think we do. I mean, we have a moral duty to take, some people, and we've got a great history.
So they can only come if they come direct from a war zone?
Well, that's normally the case.
How do they get here?
Well, we do have schemes to take people
we don't have enough.
from Afghanistan and so on.
We don't have enough.
Ukraine,
we need to open up more channels.
But we're full as a country. I mean, at the moment, all the people coming across the channel, they're going into hotels. I mean, there's no housing. There's no actual housing for people to go in. Well, people in this country who want a council home are on the list for 10, 20, 50 years. So we're really out of space.
I think the truth, one thing we can all agree, the current system doesn't work, right? It just doesn't work. I don't think Rwanda's ever going to work. I don't think they'll ever get it off the ground. So they've got to come up with a plan. And this is where the problem with the Liz Truss government is, that her plans unravel very quickly. If you do U-turns on big plans, how can we trust you on things like this to fix it in the way that they keep saying they're going to? We will see. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.